Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. It's been a long time since I've made a video, but I wanted to talk about I'm using the Pro3 and the Iridium together as kind of a super crazy like monster synth. And that was my dream of like putting these two things together, and I'm starting to get somewhere. So I wanted to share, how I did that in case somebody else wants to try something similar with the same gear or even different gear. What I did was I have an Evo 8. And an Evo 8 has a thing called an artist mix, which allows you to send different output to the monitor 1 and monitor 2. So you can separate them. And what I did was I took the stereo output of monitor 1 and put that into the Iridium. So the Iridium has its stereo input. And then what I did for the Pro 3 is I took one, because the Pro 3 has mono input, I took one of the outputs on monitor 2 and actually took that into the Pro 3. Now on the DAW side over here, I actually sum that signal before I send it over. So I can take a stereo signal or a mono signal and basically send it to the Pro 3. It's just summed. Now, what I found, I hooked this up so I could send audio to anything basically, but what I found was that if I send audio from the Pro 3 to the Iridium and the Iridium to the Pro 3, basically just looping them, that you can do lots of cool stuff, and it's really fun to explore. So I wanted to show that to you. I'm just going to try to do some free-form kind of stuff and see where it ends up, and let's just hope it's cool. All right, so I did a nip patch on the Pro 3. I'm going to turn down the oscillators because it's a Pro 3. There we go. Just something like that, just a basic tone, right? Now, on the Iridium, I'm gonna init it as well. And I'm gonna go to the layer section. And I want you to see that when I press a note, we're getting input already in the Pro 3. It's registering some signal. For the routing, I'm gonna turn it off. And that means the Iridium can take input. It can either put it straight through, just into the output, or you can route it into the filters or to the effects, or you can turn it off. I'm turning it off just because we're going to use it differently. So I'm going to turn up the input volume, so we can basically. So now we're getting that in, but we're not routing it anywhere. What we're going to do is we're going to use it on a particle. On the oscillator 1, we're going to set it to particle. And I'm going to use live granular. What live granular does is it lets you take input and hear it. So let me switch over to live granular, and I'm going to play a note. I'll latch a note here. Now there is that high pitch. I know you can hear that high pitch. I was working on how to get rid of that. I think it's just part of live granular, but either way, it's still super cool. It won't affect anything. You'll see. Watch. So let me press a note. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold a note. And now I can mess with stuff on here. Okay, let's just roll with that. Okay, so now let's play another note. So this is taking one signal and then splitting up into different notes, okay? Let's, so I'm using the filter on the Iridium here. I'm gonna use the filter on this too, just so we can bring down that high pitch noise. There we go, something like that. Okay. And now, so this is where it starts to get fun. So now, since the Iridium's processing this just with one oscillator, down here on the Pro 3, there's a knob that you can change how much signal is coming in. So I have that turned up as well. Now it doesn't sound a lot different yet, but when you start adding distortion and feedback, so I'm going to add some feedback here. you start getting leave it there for a second. I'm just going to play around with some stuff here. Adding in some analog distortion. I'm going to add in some reverb. Believe it or not, there's no effects right now. I'm going to add some chorus, and I'm going to dial the chorus back. Just a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to play with some digital effects. We're going to put bit crushing on this. Okay. So here we go. Leave it right about there for a second. Let's add in some white noise just to see. All right, so let me stop the note for a second. All right, so you're just going to hear a little bit of that kind of pitch in the background. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, this was something I ran into that was super cool, was I'm going to take the audio from the Iridium into the Pro3, and I'm going to use the Pro3 because both of these synthesizers have amazing modulation capability. Like they can really route anything to anything pretty much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the audio input. I know you can't see my hand, so I apologize. I'm just editing the mod matrix on the Pro3. So what I'm doing is routing audio input to CV3 out. And then give me 1 second because I'm going to route audio output. This stuff can make your head hurt actually, but it's super fun. Audio output to I'm just going to use CV, one of the CVs. I'll use CV2. Just give me 1 second. Okay, CV2, and I'm going to turn both of those all the way up. Okay, so if I did this the right way, let's go into global and check our CVs. I'm not seeing any signal. That's okay because there's no audio yet. So when there's audio, we should see these guys move. So let me put a note through. Okay, so both these guys are moving, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Pro3, and I'm going to route CV3, which remember is its own audio. So it's a little bit crazy. It's taking its own audio, and then it's going to route that to filter 1 cutoff. Okay, just routing it to the filter cutoff. And since the Iridium has dual filters, like 2 filters at the same time, I'm going to take CV2. Actually, well, I want to show you one feature is on the 3.0 operating system, I'm on the helping with the beta program for the Iridium, is that you can now copy a slot and paste it, which is so awesome because now I can just edit CV2 and then go to filter to cutoff. All right, now let's give them a little bit of movement. I'll just do like 20% or something like that to start with to see how much we have. Might have to dial it back. I'm not sure yet. I've done this before, but I do it differently each time. All right, so let's give it a note. Okay, that's good because we got movement. Okay, get some res. Music to my ears. May not be, some people may not like this, but I love this stuff. So I love it because you're not really in control of it. You're like just reacting to what these machines are giving you. Like when you get a setup like this, it's like modular. You're just exploring. And add in another oscillator. I'm actually going to turn one of them off and just bring this guy in. There we go. So that's just a wavetable oscillator. And I'm going to add in turn that one down. I'm going to bring in just a regular old sawtooth, just a kind of a super saw. And make it nice and wide and detuned. Let's bring that in. Okay. All right. Okay, a little more calm, right? So now we're just hearing, let's go back to our filters and look at them for a second. Okay, they're just kind of jiggling a little bit. And that's just playing a sawtooth, right? And this is just kind of doing the same. I mean, basically just using a basic sawtooth in the filter. Let me turn this. So I'm going to turn off the oscillators. Okay. So the oscillators are off. And you can see these aren't moving because there's not much happening yet. So once I get some distortion going, these guys will start moving. Adding some resonance. There we go. I'm now going to send some 16th notes. So I'm just going to record a note and then play it. So the sequencer's just sending notes. That way we can just something different to kind of play with here. Well, let's add in the oscillators. So let's back this one down. Okay. Let's see. I'm not touching anything. It's like this was so cool. It just starts. I'm gonna add in a delay down here. It might go nuts, but I'll turn it off if it's too loud. Yeah, it got a little crazy. All right, I'll go ahead and stop there because I'll play with this stuff for a really long time. Actually, I'll bring in the analog distortion, which is kind of sometimes. All right, let me just do a little more. See if I. All right, so we can go really crazy with that. All right, so we'll stop there. All right, so basically, I'm having a blast with this thing because it's so much fun to explore, and it's just cool. Like you can just make stuff like that. I've been just recording clips of different things, and I just start each time and find something different, and it's fun. I mean, and what I like about it, for me, I was starting to get really interested in modular, but I don't want to deal with all the cables, to be honest. And I like that this, I can just reset it, just start again. If I love it, I can actually save, the 2 patches so I can get back to it later. Anyway, thank you very much. Take it easy, and I hope you enjoyed that. Bye.